Let's get ready to rumble!
Frank Warren didn't tell us that he was trying to sign Joseph Parker into a free fight deal. Joseph Parker was countering, saying it went from a one-fight deal to this free fight deal. Parker, having done financially very well with Matchroom previously, said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They offered him a deal and he took it. Now, the debate in TalkSport went from Simon Jordan. This time I disagree with Simon. I mean, this is our normal position, me disagreeing with him. He was saying, well, Joe Joyce is number one. Frank Warren is Frank Warren, blah, blah. Surely you go and fight on Joe Joyce's platform. Joe Joyce is number one with one sanctioning body, the WBO. That doesn't make him the king of all contenders. Somehow, Michael Hunter is number one with the WBA. Go figure. Deontay Wilder is number one with the WBC, even though Wilder hasn't won a fight since 2019 and hasn't been a champion since early 2020. Ben Shalom, he countered.
But you know Frank calls the shots because Joyce is number one.
I don't understand that argument. I think whoever pays the most money for the fight probably
gets the rights to broadcast the fight and take control of the promotion. Of course, Anthony Joshua wasn't the champion when they offered Charles Martin life-changing money, and he came to the UK. That was the highest bid he was getting from anywhere. As I said, I'm just not going to argue with a lot of people online or debate them, not for 1 second, because it's a waste of time. You obviously wasn't watching boxing or studied any history. If you could show me another period in boxing where highest bid didn't win, whether it was a purse bid or like what Ben Shalom said, 1.2 for Joyce. Frank came with no counter offer. Well, off you go then, Joyce. If you want to fight, go over to Sky. They're not trying to sign you for no free fight deal like Frank was trying to do to Parker. It's a one-fight deal. But it's got to be on Sky because they made the highest bid. There's too much boxing channels. And it might sound very... You really think a lot of yourself, Biggs, don't you, to say something like that. No, there's too much boxing channels. Because I call this the Eddie Hearn era. Where Eddie puts up the highest bid, and then you get all these convoluted arguments not to take the fight. It doesn't matter if it's Dazn, Wilder versus Joshua, the Tevin Farmer situation with Tank. No, in fact, I call it the Dazn era, not Eddie Hearn, the Dazn era. If anyone posts up a receipt of Adam Karanaki taking more than 1.2 to fight Demareason, and it's credible, I would be shocked beyond shock can be shocked. Let me just say that, right? He probably makes 1.2 if he fights Wilder, Adam Karanaki. Probably 1.2, because it will be a pay-per-view fight. But Demareason, you think Al Heyman is going to pay him 1.2 to fight Demareason? Maybe he's holding Karanaki off the Chisora fight to save him for Wilder. Maybe. But in the short term, he should be taking that purse. There's no doubt he should be able to take that Chisora purse. How much did he turn down for the AJ fight already? I'm betting on myself. Fighters never bet on themselves previously. They were prize fighters and they took the biggest purse that was offered. Unless there was some ridiculous concessions they had to give up. We've got to consider that. Boxing didn't survive over the years to be one of the greatest sports because the boxers knocked back career high purses. That's ridiculous. That's some new shit. Yeah? That's some new shit to save television networks like Showtime. Network politics, leverage politics, and bullshit like that. That's all that is. It's not like Al Heyman or Steven Espinoza is making them shareholders in the PBC or Showtime. Joshua just done a deal with DAZN, and he's got a shareholder in DAZN. These guys ain't even getting that. And you want to prop up the promotion or the network or the advisor's business? So an offer is being made to Joshua BUATSI to take on WBA light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol. BUATSI, number 2 ranked contender with the WBA. According to HEARN, Bivol does not have a problem with travelling over to the UK for the fights. The biggest issue for me is Virgil Hunter. He seemed to not have much confidence in BUATSI taking on the likes of Bivol or Joe Smith. And when Beterbiev's name came up, he was like, no way. It's not signed, it's not dotted or anything yet. The WBA haven't mandated Zerdo, so even though he's number 1, Bivol should be able to go through with his voluntary. And I'm not writing BUATSI's chances off. I'm not writing him off. I refuse to do so because I don't think Bivol is the most terrifying fighter or light heavyweight champion. But he'll be favourite, and he should win, but BUATSI's a live dog in this fight. Floyd Mayweather. You see Ryan Garcia. First he's praising Canelo. Want to learn from Canelo. In Canelo's training camp, now it's all hate. Accomplish what Canelo has accomplished, then speak bad about him. And then he went on to say, don't even speak bad about him, just carve out your own legacy, paraphrasing. Well, big up Floyd, because he's correct, but no one really takes Ryan Garcia serious. Let's see how he performs against Javier Fortuna to see how he's moving up and through the lightweight ranks. It's actually a good fight for Ryan. Joe Joyce has revealed he's likely to vacate his British title. Last week you heard me appealing for him to vacate the title that he has no use for. He beat Christian Hammer last week in 4.
Quick word on Fabio Wardley, just to our right-hand side. I think ambitions of fighting for the British title later on. You see, is that realistic, do you think?
He's going to fight Nathan Gorman next, which is a really good fight for the British heavyweight title. But it's a step up and it's a tough fight.
And there's Eddie talking up a potential Fabio Wardley-Nathan Gorman fight for the vacant title. And he's also talking about Nathan's opponent on Saturday. His opponent looks useful. He's a big dude. He's 6'4", 80-inch reach. 7 wins with 6 stoppages, 2 losses. One of them was a loss to Jared Anderson in a 6-rounder, and he was knocked out in the 6th. I don't think I've seen that one. Well, maybe I have actually. I've seen most of Jared's fights, so I just can't remember it. And the other loss was early in his career in his second fight, a split decision loss in a 4-rounder. Fabio, he had the blowout win against Daniel Martz earlier this year. A very predictable fight. He's 13-0 with 12 stoppages, 6'5", 27 years of age. His opponent is 28 years of age. Could be a useful test. Could be a useful test for Fabio. He's came in at short notice, this Kingsley Iber. Nothing to lose, so to speak. But if Fabio wants to fight for this British title, he needs to get rid of this guy. Then it's on to Nathan Gorman. That will go to purse bids. So it looks like Dazn are going down the YouTuber route to drum up some trade. KSI, he takes on Alex Wassabi on August the 27th at the O2 Arena, London. And this will be a Dazn pay-per-view that I will not be purchasing. Not shitting on the fight or anything like that. I actually like KSI, but I won't be purchasing that. Eddie Hearn, he said he has nothing to do with this, no involvement. He apparently doesn't want to get involved in the YouTuber circuit. He's done it once, KSI and Logan, but he's not going back there. Now the genius of the YouTuber circuit is not taking yourself too serious and delivering entertainment. And when you're going to call the promotional outfit promoting this event Misfits Boxing, it's just like so appropriate. They are misfits. They're not real boxers. But they're not denying it either. With over 50 million followers across his social media platforms, a #1 hit album, multiple Brit Award nominations, and an unbeaten record in the ring, KSI is one of the most recognizable faces. His record-breaking foray into boxing commanded global attention when he brought fellow social media megastar Logan Paul live on Dazn in 2019. Alex Wassabi, 18 million followers and 4.5 billion views. He's very recognizable too, a Filipino-American content creator. He actually beat Deji in March, KSI's younger brother. Was that on a TikTok card? With this being a Dazn pay-per-view event, in the UK at least, I don't know if they retain any of the pay-per-view purchases, because it's not like they have to subscribe to get the event. They just pay the pay-per-view one time and that's that. But I suppose they really care. They just want to have a big event on Dazn and have their name associated with a big event like that. And it will be a big event. Let's stick with this YouTuber circuit for now. Jake Paul, 5-0, 4 knockouts as a pro. Hasn't fought any actual boxers trained in boxing as yet. But he takes on Hasim Rahman Jr., who has a 12-1 record, the son of the former heavyweight champion. So that should answer all the questions about he hasn't fought any professionals. Now, people might say that Rahman is not exactly his dad, but that's not the point, really, is it? Like, it's a credible opponent to me. So Ruttman Jr. will replace Tommy Fury, who obviously couldn't fly out to America because of alleged links to Daniel Kinahan. KSI actually tried to save the fight and offered Jake Paul the fight in the United Kingdom. Now, at the time when KSI said he's trying to save the fight, I was wondering what he was talking about. But obviously he was going to put that fight on his card, where he takes on Alex Wassabi. But apparently Jake Paul said he won't get out of his bed for 500 grand, a purse he's never earned in his career. Now, he was previously offered allegedly $2 million to fight Jake Paul in America. But this isn't Jake Paul's promotion, it's KSI's promotion. And Tommy's been calling for the fight constantly. The first time the fight broke down, that was through Tommy, he was injured. And now it's through Tommy again because he can't fly. And him saying he won't get out of his bed for 500 grand means he shouldn't call Jake Paul's name out again. And nobody in the celebrity circuit should entertain him at all, in my opinion. Let him get on with building his record on them BT cards with Frank Warren and be content with that. I mean, if he gets 500 grand in his next fight on a BT card, well, he'd be justified in not taking the money. Tommy's not legit to me. It's down to Tommy that the fight's not happening. He can't travel because he can't travel, and that's his issue, no one else's. That's twice he's had to back out of the fight. And then there was a lifeline to save the fight where he wouldn't have to travel, but yet he doesn't want to take 500 grand to fight a man with a handful of fights, no amateur experience in an 8-rounder. Stay on Love Island. Josh Taylor on Jack Catterall. He said he's going to punish Jack. He's going to knock him out and put him flat on his back. He's going there to outbox him, beat him up, and knock him out. Well, that's what you want to hear. Taylor really seems to want this fight when he seemed a bit reluctant to give Jack the rematch. But when the reaction to his controversial victory started to build up to this crescendo and hasn't really even died down up to now, it started to get to Josh, and he wants to do a clean, clinical job and put it to bed. He said if the fight can't be made, he'd move up to 147. So Sonny Edwards would definitely have travelling issues with his association to Pro Bellum and Daniel Kinahan. So I'm assuming that Eddie is going to bring Julio Cesar Martinez to London. Martinez, I don't know if he's on a long-term contract or anything with Matchroom, but Eddie's been promoting his last few fights. Last time out, he lost to Roman Gonzalez at Superfly. And obviously, he'll have to drop back down to Fly for the unification with Sonny. Martinez, he challenged Charlie Edwards, the elder brother of Sonny, for the same belt he has now, the WBC flyweight title. And it ended in a no contest. It looked like Martinez won by KO, then they changed the result because apparently he hit Charlie while he was down with a body shot. Now, I thought Charlie lost fair and square, but it's neither here or there. So revenge may be in the air. I hope the fight happens. It's a good fight for Sonny. I don't see him beating Martinez, though. I don't see that at all. Could the winner fight Bam Rodriguez, who's planning to jump back down to flyweight? Or will Bam stay at the super fly limit and take on Roman Gonzalez? There's some excellent fights out there at the lower weights. Excellent. Juan Estrada, a super fly. Potential fights with Roman. That would be the rubber match. And Bam. And I wouldn't count out Cuadras or Rungvisai to be bit players. Or maybe major players. As some of the younger guys come up. Superfly, that's my division, and it has been for a few years. So the World Boxing Council featherweight title is on the line this weekend. Mark Magsayo, who recently took care of business with Gary Russell Jr., and I don't want to hear about all this Gary boxed great with one hand. He didn't box great, yeah, whatever it was. He lost the fight, and in my opinion, Magsayo earned his victory, and he won well. It was close, but he won well. Gary didn't throw nowhere near enough punches for anyone to tell me that he won that fight. People telling me he won the fight with one hand. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. So Mark Magsayo, who can definitely crack a little, he takes on Ray Vargas. Now, Vargas is a good fighter. He knows what he's doing. 5'10", yeah, tall, good reach, good boxer. But he wasn't a banger at super bantam. Never really, was he? And I believe Magsayo, younger, maybe a little fresher, hits hard. He's going to land the harder punches and maybe secure himself a controversial, tight decision. Not sure if he can knock Vargas out or anything like that, but he does hit hard and he does throw a lot of punches. I just see him a bit more energetic than Vargas, who could be the better boxer. I was listening to Boxing Wave and he made some good arguments in Vargas's favour. I'll go with Magsayo. I'll go with Magsayo to retain his title. How sharp is Pulev's jab? Does he have his legs? Is Derek able to roll underneath the jab, maintain discipline, and do that for long periods in the fight? Prime Pulev had a good jab. I don't know if it was a head clash or the jab that knotted up Derek's eye in the first fight. Pulev also has a good right cross, which he landed with regularity on Derek, but Derek ate it. I don't think Pulev has the type of punching power that will put Derek's lights out. Not saying he can't stop him, but I believe Pulev winning by stoppage would probably be more an injury stoppage than concussive punches. Pulev also landed that right uppercut a few times in their first fight. Pulev spoke about brawling with Derek, trading punches, and he can brawl with Derek, but that's basically fighting in Derek's wheelhouse. I don't think Pulev has the same legs as he had in the first fight. Pulev manhandled the 233-pound Jerry Forrest. People are going to look at the Michael Hunter Jerry Forrest fight and say, well, he looks like he won that, and perhaps he won the Zhilei Zhang fight. But Derek is a different proposition to Jerry Forrest. I don't see Pulev manhandling Derek like that, and if he does, it's over for Derek. But I don't see it. Is 258 too heavy for Derek? Pulev came in at the expected 250. Interesting fact, the 3 times Derek has been stopped is when he has weighed in at 240 plus. Low 240s, mid 240s. Pulev weighed in 239 for the AJ fight. 248 for the Jerry Forrest fight. That was his last fight. That's just a pound or so lighter than what he's weighed in for Chisora. And that's not a bad weight for him at 41 years of age. He was 240 when he fought Hughie Fury, about 247 when he fought Vlad. So, I don't know. I can't really get too much from the weight, get too much of a read on either guy. Derek's 38, Pulev is 41. They're going to come in at whatever weight is comfortable at this stage here. In their first encounter in 2016, Derek weighed in at 241. And Pulev actually weighed in at 249. He was actually heavier. So there's a role reversal for tomorrow's encounter. Derek's the heavier guy. I think Derek, maybe 3 times out of 10, can win the inside war, land the heavier shots, and get a win. While Pulev, maybe 5 times out of 10, can get his jab off that right hand and the uppercuts and outpoint Derek. I hope Derek wins. Pulev has beat him on points already. It was very close, and that was in Germany, which was home territory, literally, to Pulev being a silent fighter, although Derek was a silent fighter as well. Pulev had a whole load of fights in Germany. Who wins? Pulev could scrape it on points. Derek, I believe, needs a knockout, and he is capable of doing it. Looking forward to it. Adrian Broner, August the 20th, makes his comeback against Omar Figueroa. Both men have been pretty inactive. Figueroa only having 1 fight in the last couple of years. He's lost his last 2 against Abel Ramos and Yordenis Ugas. Broner only having 1 fight, a controversial victory over Giovanni Santiago in the last couple of years. Broner's only won 1 of his last 4. What's he got left in the tank? Robert Gutierrez will defend his WBA SFW title, whatever that is, against Hector Luis Garcia. Is that at featherweight? I remember Luis Garcia beating Chris Colbert last time at featherweight, taking Colbert's unbeaten record. Albert Puello and Batir Akhmadov will fight for the vacant WBA super lightweight title, which Josh Taylor was stripped of. It's a good card. PBC. Brown is saying all the right things, but a lot of people are going to be skeptical and say we've heard it all before. He says he's working hard for the Figueroa fight. No distractions. He wants to be a champion again. He said he's been in camp for 2.5 months, training by himself, working his ass off alone. Usually it's 15 or 20 people plus who surround him while he's training. No matter if they're holding water, Powerade, or holding a bag while he's working out, they're just there to encourage him to push himself. Now he says he doesn't need that. It's just him and Mike Stafford, his trainer, his cut man Levi Smith. He wants to keep it this way. Ain't no hard feelings to nobody, but just keep the same energy when he's back as a champion. Some of the closest people switched up on him, is what he says. And he's fine with their decisions because he knows he's a hustler. He started this shit alone, and he's going to finish this shit alone. It's good to hear that he's in the gym, he's working away, but he's still yet to convince the masses that he can really get close to the potential he showed early in his career.